Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Isaac, and I have the pleasure of representing not only the great council that is seated around the dais, but also our great mayor. We welcome you to this special event, and like to acknowledge the absence of our city manager, Mr. Wayne Pyle, who could not be here this evening. Myself, along with fellow assistant city manager Nicole Cottle, and the rest of the executive staff is seated in the front row here for these proceedings. It's a great privilege to recognize that we have many followers, not only in this audience, but many followers on our WVCTV, and also on our web, on the internet, where people will be able to follow these proceedings live. We will post the mayor's speech immediately after he delivers it, and so those who are with us using social media, you'll be able to see that speech immediately after proceedings. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our good and honorable mayor, Mr. Mayor Mike Winter. I consider Mayor Winter not only a good friend, but he's also very devoted, as the rest of these council members are, to this city. We have just completed just recently our strategic planning meetings, and I know the mayor will report a little bit on that, and it's just been a great pleasure to work under the direction of these fine people who are seated around the dais. Without any further ado, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce now our honorable mayor, Mr. Mike Winter.
Paul threatened me earlier if I wasn't nice to him, he'd say mean things, but I must have done all right today because Paul was gracious as he always is. Good to see all of you today. Thank you for joining us for this annual tradition. This is our fourth time doing it, and it's become a great tradition. It's great especially to see some of the young scouts here with us and other young people. It's good to have city employees and members of the community and members of the media here with us as well. And the council and I are especially pleased to see the great city employees and department heads that join us for this annual event as well. You know, since the days when ships first sailed into the Atlantic sunset from the old world, since the time when wagons rumbled along dusty trails headed towards the Rockies, since the era when the clickety-clack of the iron horse brought settlers to across the wide plains and into these valleys, there has been opportunities sought by those who go west. As pioneers arrived to a quickly filling up valley, they chose to continue on west, over Jordan, to homestead their farms and till the rich earth. As immigrants showed up to a valley already well established, they once again looked to the west for their land of opportunity, here among the diversity and affordability of our community. And as businesses, entrepreneurs, and young professionals today look for their land of opportunity, they're still coming to the west in record numbers, to this city and prospering in the sunset shadows of the Ochre Mountains. Go west, young man, evangelized Horace Greeley, the most famous newspaper man of the 19th century. Go west, young man, and grow up with the country. His words ring true today, for it is this side of the valley, in this fresh time and in this young place, where opportunities still abound. To illustrate, last year we issued over 400 building permits for over $115 million worth of construction projects, both residential and commercial. This places us fourth in the state for construction activity, alongside other booming communities in Utah, and according to Ed Domian, our chief building inspector, it's the highest we've ever ranked. The housing market is picking up, with the number of permits for single-family homes in our city last year more than double in 2011. We're also seeing the first Class A apartment towers coming to our city, with a $25 million project ready for construction in Fairborn Station, just to our west, and another $30 million multifamily development for Highbury. The market is demanding a variety of housing options in our city, and we are seeing some of the finest quality projects in the state being put forward. People are coming west. Part of why people love West Valley City is that they feel welcome here. This is a community where Utah's largest Asian population is greeted by one of the finest Chinese friendship gates in the United States, which was dedicated at our Utah Cultural Celebration Center this last September. This is a community where we came together with leaders of various faiths for our first Martin Luther King Day service last month, and where we named a road after Rosa Parks last year, who, by the way, turned 100 yesterday, would she still have been alive. This is a community where pet owners and pet lovers are proud that we're working with animal advocacy groups to become the first city with a no-kill animal shelter in the state. People feel welcome in this Utah's most diverse city. Business is booming, and we're becoming well known as the most aggressive economic development group in the state. In fact, our Community and Economic Development Department was recognized as tops among their peers with the Best of State medal, and even recognized as one of the finest community development groups in the state, public or private, with the Best of State statue this year. Chamber West saw 50 ribbon cuttings last year, from Buffalo Wild Wings and Target on 5600 West to the new $25 million megaplex here at the Valley Fair Mall, the first Miller megaplex to have all leather seating, and one of the few in the nation to have D-box motion seats, high frame rate picture clarity, and sound so realistic that you have to look up to see if it's raining on you or not. This helped automobile traffic at the Valley Fair Mall to be up 60% on Black Friday this past year from the year prior. Our plans for the $500 million Fairborn Station development continue on schedule, with the opening of the full-service Embassy Suites Hotel last month. In fact, their formal ribbon cuttings in a week. This cornerstone of our new city center is a 7-story, $33 million contribution to our skyline and boasts the first Shula's Grill in Utah. In fact, the famous Miami Dolphin coach Don Shula will be here himself next week with his wife to open that hotel formally. More and more people are going west to West Valley City, not just for movies and malls, but for jobs. At a time when much of the nation remains mired in the Great Recession, composite fiber manufacturer Hexcel in our city is continuing forward with their $450 million expansion. A $20 million North American headquarters for the Petzl Corporation will be under construction soon, and a new 1,000-acre economic development area for distribution and manufacturing has been established in the northwest corner of our city. We have seen more jobs created in our city in the past year than any of the past 3 years, bringing our 3-year total to over 5,000 jobs. 5,000 new jobs. These are not just statistics. These are livelihoods for thousands of families in our area in a variety of industries. We commend our staff in all departments that work with us to foster a culture of encouraging economic investment, and we commend our many private sector partners who look to the West for their next opportunity. And yet, in a world of accelerating development, we do not neglect the value of nature and wide open spaces here in the West. Our city has 2 new parks put in this past year, with 204 more trees planted in our city parks. We are presently working with our partners at Salt Lake County for creating more parks, from the shores of the Jordan River to regional parks on the foothills of the Oakers, and working with them to expanding trails along the canals in between. And we are efficient with our open spaces, utilizing over 1,400 volunteer hours this past year in parks and golf courses. Scouts, a lot of those are Eagle projects, by the way. We use less water per acre in maintaining West Valley City parks than even the lofty standards set by the demonstration gardens of the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy. We do a great job. Here in the West, we're also leveraging change to create opportunity. As the new Mountain View corridor slices through the western part of our city, 2 miles of trails have already been opened alongside that new highway, and the former Westridge Golf Course, disrupted by the new highway, will reemerge this July as Utah's newest golf course, The Ridge, with unparalleled views and unique holes, second to none. The Mountain View corridor was opened this last year from 54 South to 106 South, enhancing our connectivity with the southwest areas of this valley. We've seen other great transportation developments besides. For example, just outside this window we have our TRAX light rail line. In 2012, TRAX ridership on the West Valley Green Line continued to grow, increasing 17% in 1 year from the year it opened. Innovations in road travel have also been made as we partnered with UDOT to improve traffic flow at the Bangerter Highway intersections and as we better coordinate our traffic signals. To travel from 41st South, from one end of our city to the other, it now is 6 minutes quicker going eastbound in the mornings than it was in 2009. And it's 10 minutes quicker going westbound in the evening commute than it was in 2009. A lot of you have felt that. To actually feel traffic lessening as the city is growing is a truly remarkable achievement, and one that affects for good the quality of residents' lives every day. In 2012, nearly 6 miles of road were repaved at a cost of $1.6 million, but as a result of this work, the average condition of our roads increased 7%. In these many ways, it's easier to go west than ever before. Throughout history, The love of the West is also coupled with the love of the land. Here in West Valley City, we're doing big things to protect land and air, saving taxpayer dollars while we're at it. Last year, over 6,000 tons of waste were recycled by city residents and by our contractor Waste Management. That represents a 1.5% reduction in landfill waste at the Salt Lake Valley landfill, or enough waste to fill these council chambers 30 times. This effort saved the city $148,000 in landfill tipping fees. In 2012, lighting, heating, and air conditioning improvements in 10 city buildings were completed. These improvements will save over 700,000 kilowatt hours of electricity annually, according to Rocky Mountain Power, and this is enough to supply the homes of 55 families of 4 per year, just to show you what a big savings that is. Environmental actions not only save money, but we find that they can save lives. Our fire department last year initiated a paperless system for medical transports to this effect. They also became the first fire department in the state to utilize the newest style patient lift system in their new transport engine. Regarding public safety, people often worry that the West is more wild than it is. People who wonder why a West Valley City crime story appears on the news more often than one about their town forget how big we are. West Valley City, with 132,000 people, has as many residents as Saratoga Springs, Centerville, Highland, Farmington, Harriman, Brigham City, and Holiday combined. We are Utah's second largest city and cover over 35 square miles. On a per capita level, our violent crime and property crime rates are lower than several Utah cities, townships, and unincorporated areas. Nationally, our crime rates are average for a city our size. But most importantly, our city continues to get safer. There were 11% fewer crimes committed in our city last year than in 2009. 11% fewer. Out here in the West, our city's finances are healthy, and not by accident. We continue to look for ways to be smarter with our precious dollars. For example, last year we took our utility billing in-house. Rather than paying Rocky Mountain Power to include these bills in their statements, we now send out over 27,000 bills and process them ourselves. This has increased our accuracy, transparency, and efficiency in billing and interaction with our citizens. While many Utah communities raised taxes last year, we did not. We held the line on spending and lived within our means. This, coupled with our growing economic development, led Fitch Ratings to upgrade our bond rating at the end of last year. Our city was awarded the Distinguished Budget Award for the 22nd year last year and the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 21st time by the Government Financial Officers Association. These awards represent the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and reporting. Transparency is there, accuracy is there. The finance department and all the departments working with them are doing a fabulous job. This is a significant achievement and demonstrates the consistent efforts and expertise of this group. So where do we go from here? How do we keep the dream alive that the real opportunities continue to lie in the West? How do we continue to improve our public safety, our public well-being, and our quality of public life? Recently, as elected officials, we asked the public what areas they wanted us to focus on as a city. What were their concerns? Where did they see the opportunity? We gathered feedback on the city website, through social media, and through our annual resident survey. The suggestion box was open, and we appreciate the many who took time to share with us what they'd like us as a city to focus on. Then, taking all that feedback, our city council members, our city manager Wayne Pyle and assistant city manager Paul Isaac and I met over the weekend in our annual strategic planning meetings. For hours on end, we combed through this feedback, through the suggestions. We brainstormed ideas ourselves, and ultimately voted on 6 key goals that we can focus on as a city in the coming year. What emerged in these 6 goals was a focus on neighborhoods, because at the end of the day, it's our homes and those around us that affect us most. In the original 1929 musical of Showboat, we hear the moving voices singing the lyrics of the old spiritual, deep river, my home is over Jordan. And so it is with us, the inheritors of the community over Jordan, as this area in the west side was known in Utah's territorial days. It is because it is our home, we love it so, and it is because it is our home that neighborhoods matter so much to us and to our residents. In the spirit of my theme tonight, to go west, I have arranged these 6 goals in an order that fits with the mnemonic device, G-O-W-E-S-T. G is for guardians. The guardians of public safety in our community are the brave men and women of the West Valley City Police Department. People feel safer when they see the brave men and women in blue driving down their streets, patrolling a neighborhood shopping center, or out in the community. Criminal mischief is discouraged in areas where these protectors of the peace frequent. So our first big goal for the coming year is this: have a more visible police presence on our neighborhood streets and in our public spaces. O is for original. West Valley City is unique from every other city in Utah. We have our own stories and heritage, a past built on farmers, miners, laborers, entrepreneurs, and immigrants. We are not your typical Utah suburb, and yet we are not the urban capital city either. We are a unique place, working hard as leaders with our private sector partners to create original places, destinations unlike anywhere else in Utah. So we charge our staff with this goal: have each department in the city find ways to make the city unique, meaningful, and interesting. It is not just enough to be a functional and efficient government. We are partners with the community in genuine placemaking. And the result should not be anywhere USA. It should not be said of West Valley City, as it has with so many cities in suburban America, that there is no there there. We are original, and we want to continue to build upon that. So G is for Guardian, O is for Original, W is for We the People. It was Theodore Roosevelt, one of my favorite presidents, that said, "We are the government, you and I." Any great American city has a special class of residents who have realized this vision and have felt empowered by City Hall to seize the great opportunities of being community leaders, neighborhood builders, or in the words of Peter Kajiyama, founder of the Creative City Summits, city co-creators. We realize that not everyone in the city has the time, interest, or energy in giving back to their community as a co-creator. But we do realize that West Valley City would be incredibly enhanced if we had more neighborhood association leaders like Doris Wall and Renee Layton. We would be so much richer as a community if we had more people like Jeff and Pat Dilstra on city volunteer boards and committees. And we would have an even more in-touch municipal government if we had more amazing city employees like Kevin Condi, Nancy Day, Cindy Hobbs, and many, many more who actually live in the city that they work for. We realize in a metro area like ours, it is unrealistic to have every city employee live inside the city, and frankly, we want the best and brightest, regardless of where they live, to be on city staff helping us reach our potential. But, as elected officials, we also feel that city employees that live in the city gain unmatched community knowledge and develop a special passion for this place that can only be acquired by experiencing in real time the stores, schools, and services that our residents do. So how many of these co-creators does our city need to have to be that leaven to help us rise, to be that salt to give our city savor? Kajiyama, in his book For the Love of Cities, suggests that, quote, a medium-sized city could significantly increase its energy, enthusiasm, and creativity by adding only 100 or so passionate co-creators. He proposes 0.1%. Looking at this and our city population of 132,000, the City Council and I came up with the next big goal: have 132 residents involved in city employment, city boards, or neighborhood associations by the end of the year. E is for education, specifically higher education. As elected officials, we were disturbed, frankly, by the recent findings showing that only 12.8% of adults in our city have a college degree. This is less than half the state average and towards the lower end of cities along the Wasatch Front. Now, there are plenty of wonderful people in our city who never finish college, but as city leaders, there are numerous reasons why we want our young people to aim for a college degree, and why we want to attract more college-educated residents. Those with a college degree, on average, will earn over $1 million more in their lifetime than those without. Think of what that can mean over time to our city sales tax receipts. Only 1% of college graduates receive public assistance. Only 3.6% of college graduates live below the poverty line, and only 2.9% of jail inmates have a college degree. In the current recession, the unemployment rate for those with a bachelor's degree is half the state average. These are enormous societal, financial, and demographic benefits to having more college graduates in West Valley City. And so our fourth goal is this: increase the number of college graduates in West Valley City through cultivating partnerships with higher education institutions, developing programs to foster employment and housing that will attract college graduates, and through educating existing residents. S is for sustainability. We need to hold the line on spending, plan for future capital expenditures, and ensure that our city's balance sheet remains sustainable as we head into the uncertain years ahead. We want to make sure that taxes are fair, and yet we also want to make sure our future needs are covered. that employees are taken care of, and that those needs are covered, whether it's procrastinating that road repair that someday we won't be able to put off any longer, or whether it's building that new fire station that someday we'll just have to have. So our big goal regarding fiscal sustainability is this: provide both efficient and effective services and develop a sustainable facilities plan that accommodates future needs. T is for transitioning neighborhoods. The demographics of our neighborhoods are changing. Our housing stock is aging. Prominent roads in our city that once were desirable places for single-family homes are becoming frantic commuter corridors. Families are outgrowing their homes and moving. We need to face these new realities as our neighborhoods evolve and work to transition them into the best that they can be. We need to execute on our new programs to encourage homeowner reinvestment, and we need to leverage the human capital in neighborhoods to better look out for each other. So our sixth and final goal is this: enhance our residential neighborhoods and plan for emerging residential change and lifestyles by maintaining existing programs, strengthening this co-creator concept, and creating new neighborhood associations. So there you have it, G-O-W-E-S-T, Go West. Horace Greeley was right. It remains sound advice to go west, young man. And here in West Valley City, we seek to keep alive that spirit of hope, opportunity, and a brighter tomorrow that the spirit of the West has always signified. As city elected officials, as city staff, we are working harder than ever to make sure the Star of the West still beckons. We love this city. I love West Valley City. We are honored to serve the wonderful people of this special place that we call our home. We're excited to serve the wonderful people at this special time in this exciting way. As the author of The Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien penned Bilbo's last song, and he scrawled, "I seek the West, I seek the West, and fields and mountains ever blessed." As we continue to hasten the ascendancy of West Valley City, may the paths and parks, homes and shops, fields and mountains be so ever blessed. Thank you. Let's go west.